Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It's Barb Katie here. I think I'm live. I'm never quite sure, but seems like it works out most of the time. How are you on this beautiful, beautiful Monday morning? It's just amazing here. The sun is shining. It is still chilly, but spring is definitely coming. I even have buds on my sassafras tree, which is very, very nice to see. And I'm perfectly confident that the dandelions will soon be raising their shaggy yellow heads. Today, I saw 5 robins in the backyard. So I know spring is definitely just around the corner, and I am excited. It's going to be a wonderful season and a wonderful new beginning. This is the last in the series on persisting that I have put together for all of us to think about. And today I would like to talk about trusting the process. One thing I have found out that eventually things work out pretty much in their own time. And it doesn't mean that you might like the path you're on right now, but you need to always remember it's not your final destination. We can correct, we can adjust, we can make allowances and changes, and we can keep moving forward if we trust in the process. There's several reasons I've found that it's really helpful to trust ourselves and what we know about ourselves, what we've learned through our life experiences, uh, and to use those in preparing us to continue forward and to not give up, to not quit. One thing is, if you just trust yourself and what you've learned and what you know, you're going to be a lot calmer. And that is only natural. That when you have sort of an inner peace, when you let go of the need of trying to control certain outcomes in your life, you're going to be able to focus better. Even if you try, control is never completely yours. Things always come up, things always intervene. No matter what you think, no matter how carefully you can. Rather, if you trust the process, you can be calm when things do arise, and you can relax about your life, which keeps you more aligned, more willing to do what you need to do to just keep putting that one foot in front of the other. The other thing that I found is that when I trust the process and trust myself, I'm actually more confident about what I'm trying to achieve. I learn to build trust and to rely on myself better. That's very, very important to be able to rely on yourself, because sometimes in many situations, you are the key person on whom you have reliance. Sometimes you have to go it alone, and you need to know you can trust in yourself to make good judgments and to move forward. When you know you've worked hard to get to where you currently are, then you have the confidence that you'll get to where you want to be. And that's a wonderful gift to give yourself as you persist in your journey. Also, I found that when I trust in the process and trust in myself, I'm much less likely to hurt myself. Uh, I actually can beat up on myself probably better than anybody else can. I'm my own worst critic. Uh, and that's not a good thing to be. I need to be as kind to myself as I try to be to other people. Trusting in the process helps me value myself enough to stop stressing out when I don't meet a perfect mark. I know I'm not perfect, but I can do many things really, really well. And some things I can actually be almost excellent in. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to beat myself up and be my worst critic. I can be my cheerleader if I trust in the process. It gets better when I just let go of the need to do things perfectly. I live in a messy house. Um, it's clean enough that Department of Health doesn't come in and evict us. Um, I always have laughed because I'm not much of a duster, and my uh, sons used to come through the living room and write names in on the surfaces of things, and they would just laugh. And some of the messages were even really funny. And my youngest son, one day when he was probably about 6, and he says, "Mommy, why don't you dust very often?" And I said, "Well, don't you know, son? Those are our relatives that have come to visit us, and I want them to stay as long as possible." And he just laughed and he said, "Mommy, that's a great idea. I really, really like that." So don't beat yourself up. Your house may not be the cleanest, most spectacular one in the world, but if it's full of love, what more can you hope for in your life? And that's a good way, I think, to look at things, is to strive for excellence in your life, but certainly not perfection, because I don't know anyone that's ever hit the mark of being perfect. Uh, when I trust in myself also, I have given consideration to the fact I'm really much more patient with me. Um, it takes a great deal of patience to make changes, especially if you're planning to do it right. And I think all of us really want to do this journey for our best health in the right way. We don't want to have to do it over again and over again and over again because we tried to do something that we couldn't sustain through time. So, give yourself time, give yourself the ability for your character and your attitudes to develop and to grow and to strengthen by believing that things will eventually work out. You're also building some discipline, which is certainly necessary if this is something you want to sustain for the rest of your life. And I know when it comes to weight loss, I bet you are a lot like me. It's not your first rodeo. You've done it before, probably more than once, probably sometimes very rigidly and very strictly, and you couldn't sustain the effort. I don't want to do it over and over and over again. I want to be patient enough with myself and trust in the processes that I've learned through the years, that this time will be the journey that will sustain me for the rest of my life. Another thing when it comes to trusting in the process that I've learned is I become much more resilient. Uh, no matter what challenges life throws at you, resilience is something you gain by trusting in the process. We've all been through many battles before, and we all know that when you go through what you're going through, usually is not permanent. It is temporary, and you are going to get through it. Resilience becomes part of your character as you have no need to control or fix things obsessively. You can work through this, you can overcome it, you can adapt, you can move forward, which brings me to another part of trusting in the process, and that is that I find I become much more open to change when I am capable of trusting my own abilities. While nobody likes the idea of change, it's the one thing in all our lives that we cannot avoid it entirely. Change is consistent no matter where we go, and trusting in the process will only prove that further. When you trust, You learn to adapt to the changes that happen. Even if you did pretty much nothing, change happens because time passes. And if you've ever watched a banana sit on the kitchen counter, you fully comprehend that concept. That banana can sit there and one day it's green and hard as a brick, and you turn around and it's so soft and ripened that it's almost liquefied. The other thing that I've learned in trusting in the process of helping myself live my healthiest life is that this process leads me to my purpose. I don't know what you've decided your purpose in life is. I know for me, it's to try to help everyone reach their healthiest, best life. Everyone is made for a purpose, and this is why it's important to have faith and trust that you will get there eventually. It may seem like a cliche, but what's meant for you probably will be found by you if you persist in living your best life. And that's all any of us can hope for, is to be kind, to be helpful, to be considerate, to be concerned and supportive of each other. That for me is a wonderful purpose to pursue on a daily basis. And that leads me again. I have 10 things, and this is number 8. And that is that when I trust in the process, I find I'm much more grateful. Life is filled with enough anxiety, and there is absolutely no reason to add to that by worrying even more. By letting go, I've learned to be grateful for what I already have and take it from there. I've learned to be content and realize that I'm blessed, even though I'm not yet where I really hope to be and where I'm working toward. But I need to enjoy the journey. I need to celebrate all the good things that have happened in my life up until this point, because I am trusting in the process. One of my biggest gratitudes is all of you. You have enriched my life so much. You have taught me so many powerful lessons. And I'm grateful every day that I get up and I get to spend time pursuing my purpose with each of you. And the support and caring that flows from you fills me up and gives me the ability to share as well. And together we are more than. We are making singular efforts. So I'm extremely grateful for that. I've also learned that I grow through everything I attempt or whatever happens in life. No matter what things I've encountered, there is a growing process in having experienced them and lived through them. Sometimes it's a painful process, but you still grow through it. Trusting that you will learn doesn't mean that it always comes out the way you want, but it means that this is happening for a reason, because it's a lesson I still need to learn. I know a lot of my friends who are cops have talked to me about this, that they have struggled with their weight. They have exceeded their leeway. They have lost their status. And on reflection, when they look at the process through which they were going, they realize that even though it hurt, they still needed to learn things, because successful weight management is a journey. It's not a final destination. And we're always going to be continuing and learning and growing and supporting and helping each other as circumstances changes. change and as we experience new and different things. Sometimes, and I think the pandemic probably brought this to me more clearly than most things that I have in recent years. What I have come to realize is the importance of timing. Last March, almost a year ago to the day, we were at a board meeting in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we never anticipated what this year would bring to us. All the challenges, all of the changes, all of the new circumstances with which we had to contend. And we had to stay flexible and learn and grow and move through them, not only at an individual personal level, but with our chapters, with our fellow members, with our friends, with our families, with our work situation. It's been a year of great opportunity to learn and grow. And one of the things I have come to really appreciate is the time I had at home to reflect, to think about what I was doing, where I can make the biggest impact, not only for myself, but for helping those about whom I care so much. And so I've been grateful to have had this time to reflect and learn new skills, to make changes, to adapt to situations, and to find out that I can adapt. I don't have to do the same old, same old. I can do different, and I can get pretty good at doing different. Wouldn't you know? Always a phone call. There we go. We ended that. So as difficult as this year's has been, I have learned from this year that I can trust myself. I can trust my judgment. I can rely on you. I can trust that your support will be there for me in times of need. I hope you've learned that you can rely on your fellow members just as much because we are in this together. Not one of us is more important than the other. We all need to step up and move forward and trust this process that has actually brought us an opportunity to come together so much stronger and be able to look around us and say, what can I do for my fellow members to help them stay focused on this difficult journey that all of us are traveling together? Hand in hand, we can get through this. I know that I can't do it alone. I know I need your help. I am grateful today that you're still there in my corner, battling with me. And when I get knocked down, you help me get back up. I promise the same devotion and focus to you. Tops Nation is a wonderful family of friends and supporters. And I want to thank you this morning for sharing some time with me. I have weighed in. I do have a loss to report. You all saw my loss that I reported on Friday to Rick. I just bumped into his room really quickly and shared with him that I had lost 3/4 of a pound. This week, I've added another half pound to it. So that's exciting. And what's exciting more to me than any amount is that I'm developing consistency. Consistency sometimes for me is the bigger struggle to stay on task day to day, not just to have a loss for a particular day, because we all know you can play games with the scales on how that is. So I want to thank you very much for the time you took to be with me this morning. I hope your day is sunny. I hope your day is bright. I hope your life is filled with sunshine and joy today and every day. And I will talk to you next week. Take care now. Bye bye.